Why most digital transformations fail? Introduction. Imagine spending $50 million, hiring consultants, buying new technology, running workshops, creating steering committees, producing hundreds of PowerPoint slides, and 2 years later, the business is no better off than when it started. It sounds unbelievable. Yet it happens all the time. In fact, studies consistently show that most digital transformation programs fail to deliver the outcomes they originally promised. Not because the technology doesn't work, not because the people aren't capable, but because organizations repeatedly make the same mistakes. Today, we're going to explore why digital transformations fail, the warning signs that trouble is ahead, and what successful organizations do differently. What is digital transformation? Let's start with a simple question. What exactly is digital transformation? Ask 10 executives and you'll probably receive 10 different answers. Some will tell you it's moving systems to the cloud. Others will point to artificial intelligence, automation, customer portals, mobile applications, data analytics, cybersecurity. And while all of those things may form part of a transformation program, none of them are the transformation itself. Digital transformation is about changing the way an organization operates. Technology is simply the tool used to enable that change. And that's where the first major misunderstanding occurs. Because replacing software is relatively straightforward. Changing human behavior is not. The moment a transformation requires people to work differently, resistance begins to appear. Not because people are difficult, because uncertainty makes people uncomfortable. And uncertainty exists in every major transformation. Mistake number 1. Technology first. The first major mistake often happens before the project has even started. A board meeting takes place. Executives hear about competitors adopting new technology. Consultants present exciting possibilities. Artificial intelligence dominates headlines. Cloud migration becomes fashionable. Suddenly the conversation becomes, we need a new platform, we need automation, we need AI, we need cloud. Notice what's missing. Nobody has asked the most important question. What business problem are we actually trying to solve? Technology should always be the answer to a problem. Unfortunately, many organizations start with the answer and then go looking for the question. This creates a dangerous situation, because technology cannot fix a broken process. If an organization has inefficient processes today, implementing expensive software often creates a more expensive version of the same inefficiency. The software works perfectly, the business doesn't. Many failed transformations have one thing in common. They focused on systems before they understood processes. The result was predictable, lots of new technology, very little real improvement. Mistake number 2, leadership disappears. Most transformation programs begin with enormous enthusiasm. The CEO launches the initiative. The board approves funding. Town hall meetings are held. Employees are told this program is strategically important. Everyone appears committed. Then something strange happens. Leadership disappears. Executives become busy. Steering committee meetings are delegated. Difficult decisions are delayed. Conflicts remain unresolved. Weeks become months. Months become years. Meanwhile, the project team is expected to drive organizational change without visible executive support. This creates confusion. Departments pursue competing priorities. Decision-making slows. Momentum fades. The program becomes increasingly tactical rather than strategic. Transformation cannot be delegated. Technology projects can sometimes survive without executive engagement. Transformation programs cannot, because transformation requires changes in behavior, priorities, and accountability. Only leadership can drive those changes consistently. When leadership disappears, confusion fills the vacuum. Mistake number 3, ignoring culture. This is the mistake organizations underestimate most: culture. Many executives see culture as a soft issue, something that can be addressed later, perhaps a communications campaign, a training program, a few workshops. Unfortunately, culture doesn't work like that. Every transformation creates uncertainty. Employees begin asking questions. Will my role change? Will I still be needed? Will I have to learn new skills? Will somebody else gain influence? Will I lose influence? These concerns are perfectly natural, but if they are ignored, resistance begins to develop, sometimes openly, more often quietly. And quiet resistance is far more dangerous. People attend meetings, they nod in agreement, they appear supportive. But when they return to their desks, they continue working exactly as they always have. The transformation exists on PowerPoint slides, not in reality. Many projects fail not because people refuse to change. They fail because people never truly adopt the change, and adoption is everything. Mistake number 4, unrealistic expectations. The business case usually looks fantastic. Costs will fall, productivity will increase, customers will be happier, revenue will grow, processes will become faster, benefits will appear almost immediately. Reality is rarely so generous. Transformation is messy. Systems need stabilization. Processes need refinement. Training takes time. People make mistakes. Unexpected issues emerge. Benefits often arrive much later than expected. Yet the pressure to deliver remains. Stakeholders become impatient. Executives ask difficult questions. Confidence begins to fade. As pressure increases, shortcuts are taken, testing is reduced, risks are ignored, issues are hidden, and program health begins to deteriorate, not because anyone intended to fail, because expectations were unrealistic from the beginning. The warning signs. How can you tell when a digital transformation is heading for trouble? There are usually warning signs. The first is green status reporting, despite obvious problems. Everyone claims everything is fine, yet deadlines are slipping, issues are increasing, confidence is falling. The second warning sign is constant scope change. The destination keeps moving. New requirements appear every month. Priorities change repeatedly. The third warning sign is delayed decision-making. Important choices remain unresolved. Meetings discuss the same topics repeatedly. Nothing moves forward. The fourth warning sign is growing user frustration. People struggle with new processes. Support requests increase. Workarounds appear. Confidence declines. And perhaps the biggest warning sign of all, nobody feels comfortable raising bad news. The moment bad news stops traveling upwards, leadership loses visibility of reality. And once leadership loses visibility, recovery becomes extremely difficult. What successful organizations do differently? Successful transformations share several characteristics. First, they focus on outcomes rather than technology. They define the business problem before selecting the solution. Second, leadership remains visible throughout the journey. Executives actively participate. Decisions are made quickly. Priorities remain clear. Third, culture receives as much attention as technology. People understand why change is happening. Concerns are addressed honestly. Adoption becomes a strategic objective. Fourth, expectations remain realistic. Benefits are tracked carefully. Progress is measured honestly. Challenges are acknowledged openly. Successful organizations understand something that struggling organizations often forget. Transformation is ultimately about people, not software, not infrastructure, not dashboards, people. Conclusion. The next time you hear an organization announce a major digital transformation program, don't focus on the technology. Don't focus on the software vendor. Don't focus on the marketing campaign. Watch the leadership. Watch the culture. Watch how decisions are made, because that's usually where success or failure is decided. Technology matters, but it is rarely the deciding factor. If you've ever worked on a transformation program, I'd love to hear your experience in the comments. What do you think is the biggest reason digital transformations fail? And if you enjoyed this video, subscribe to Why Projects Fail for more real-world lessons from projects, programs, and business transformation. Thanks for watching.